All right, people, welcome back. Real Tough Talk. Definitely appreciate y'all guys coming back. The next game we're going to go over is going to be Primetime versus Solar Gang. Now, let me tell you something. The difficult thing about, and you could be, I ain't going to say difficult, but it's a good thing, but it's a difficult thing. Primetime's in 2 championships right now. This game they got Solar Gang, and the next game they got the Psychos. The thing about being in 2 chips is if you lose, then you may go into that game, no momentum, down. If you win, then you may go into that game, we won, not all that. So it could be a double-edged sword. Now, Primetime in this division, they have Mr. Throwing. Miss has been winning lately ever since he won in Lindsay. The guy's been putting some games that, he competed in EHS in the A division last season. So he's been attempting to compete and showing his ability as quarterback. This Primetime team, even though they don't have Tiki will not be here this week. So that's very important. They lose their coach on their championship run today, on their championship appearance. But they still got other guys. Pratt is here. Quick is here. They still got other leaders that can step up. But I think the most important person for Primetime has to be Mr.
Yes, and he has to be the one to control the tempo of the team. Obviously, everything starts with him. Everything is going to end with his play. So he has to know exactly how he wants his team to run. Obviously, you're not going to have him, strategize too much about the defense, but he has to make sure that his side of the team is functioning well and they have good tempo throughout the game.
And the other side, you got Solar Gang. Now, the thing about this Solar Gang, I hope I'm saying it right. This team is definitely, like, they got a few guys from Brotherhoods. They got guys from various teams. But at the end of the day, this team is led by the quarterback, TP. TP has a little bit of a different throwing style. He's still getting used to being a quarterback. So I think that's where they kind of lack. But they got some playmakers, Machine, Los. They got some guys on this team that can make some plays. The key is, will TP give them enough what they need in order to beat this Primetime team, who is an experienced championship team? So we're going to have to see where you, as far as that goes.
Obviously, you said that, a lot of people criticize him for not necessarily feeling like he fits the quarterback role. But the main thing that you got to understand is decision-making matters as more so than anything, especially in a game like this. So it's all about putting people in the right place, calling the right plays, and having the right people on the field with you to make those plays happen. So TP has to take that leadership role as a quarterback and make sure that he's able to get these guys where they need to be so that they can put points up on the board.
All right, we're going to jump into the game with Solar Gang getting the ball. Second down, TP on 5 rush is sacked by Pratt. These receivers have to create some type of separation, because if not, TP is going to be under pressure all day. Pratt is a very good defender, and that's a very big play with that big sack. Third down, TP throws deep to Los on the sideline, caught for a big gain and a first down. Earl and Pratt don't react to him and on the sideline and leave him wide open. Listen, one guy you can't sleep on is Los. This kid is very talented and capable of making plays. And once somebody created some separation, TP was able to find him. Big play after that sack. Shout to TP for the great throw.
And the thing is, if you look at this play here, the main reason why he got open is because, as you saw Pratt in the last play, he rushed in to help and get the sack there because of the blocker there. So since he's so focused on rushing in, he's not communicating with Earl, who does not see Los on the sideline. And because Earl's watching another receiver that's running to the sideline, he does not see Los behind him. By the time they react, Los is already making that big play for that big yardage there.
Third and goal, TP finds Los cutting in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Creek's going to point him out, but nobody's there. You got to just stay with him. He doesn't, and gives Los the opportunity to get the touchdown. They're going to get the extra point, and it's going to be 7-0. Great play for TP to find Los on this drive twice, and definitely this one was worth 6 points.
And the thing about this play here is, again, lack of communication and lack of understanding of what's going on in the field. He has to move with him. Nobody else is there. As you see, they're all locking up on every other receiver. So because they're on that man defense, he has to guard on man 2, and that man is Los. He leaves him open. and that leads to an easy touchdown for SG there.
Primetime gets the ball back. Third down after 2 incomplete passes. Mr. throws a creep, cutting in the gap, who runs for a nice gain and a first down. This is definitely what you want to do. You want to get Mr.'s confidence up early. He's able to find Creep. Great play by Creep. Mr. then throws the line in the gap, getting him to the 5-yard line. Second and goal. Mr. throws the line in the back of the end zone. That's going to be dropped. Third and goal. Mr. throws the line again in the front of the end zone. That's going to be dropped. And fourth and goal, Mr. throws a creep in the corner of the end zone. Hey, if 2 is good, 3 got to be better. That one is dropped. Turnover on bounds. I guess these guys don't realize that this is a championship game. Championship game. And the thing about catching this football is it gets you points. I think that that's the point of the game. You want to score. Maybe these guys didn't get the memo because they had the game a hot potato and dropped 3 straight touchdowns.
And one thing I got to say about situations like this is if he ends up throwing a pick in the next drive, everybody's going to look at Mr. like it's his fault. But he had a touchdown here on this drive 3 times. And all 3 times, they dropped the pass. 2 by Lonnie, by the way. So at the end of the day, you got to make these plays. Mr. is playing his hardest to make sure you get into the end zone. He's doing that job. You got to do yours by catching the ball. Unfortunately, don't do that, and at least a turnover right there.
Second down, TP throws deep to Los in the middle. That's going to be dropped. It was offsides on the defense, and they're going to get replayed down. Los has to catch his balls. A free play, he gets open, gets separation. TP finds him, and he drops. That's a huge drop. Third down after a short pass, TP on 5 rush, throws a machine in the gap. High, incomplete. Solo Gang has to punt. That is a bad drive by this offense, and they come away with nothing, have to punt the ball.
And this is unfortunate because as good of a player as Los is, I've seen him drop passes like that pass downfield. Yeah. He's known for that every now and then. Unfortunately, on the play that they need to get some big yardage, he's not able to hold on to the ball. And it leads to them not being able to move after that. I guess that kind of threw off the momentum. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but you cannot afford to miss plays like this. That's exactly what happened. They forced the punt.
Yeah, you talking about the over the sheets, talking about the over-the-shoulder catch. Los is good catching with his hands, but when it comes to that over-the-shoulder catch, we've seen him drop a few passes in that. Yeah. I think that's a part of his game he has to step up because he gets open going downfield. The over-the-shoulder catch is the one he struggles on, and he drops that one. Mister gets the ball back. Remember, the score right now is 7-zip. With 2 passes in the gap, getting him to the 10-yard line with 1 minute left. Third down, Mr. with blocker from prep, rolls right, throws a disco in the front of the end zone, caught, but the ball's out of the end zone at the 1-yard line. What do you think of the play?
And looking at this play, Disco was arguing that he was in the end zone on this play here, that he wasn't tagged, he was already in the end zone. If you look, as he catches the ball, yes, his feet is standing in the end zone, but as he makes the catch, he leans out and the ball does not cross the plane as he catches the ball. And that is a big factor in making the decision on this play. So because of that, he gets tagged before he gets in the end zone. So even if you're already in the end zone, if you make the catch and you lean out, the ball is not in. And if you get tagged there, it is not a touchdown. You got to understand that positioning on the field, especially at the plane, matters. And because of that, they missed a touchdown.
And he swore he was in the end zone. He went back and forth with me. I told him the ball did not break the plane. He thought he was in. I'm glad the shot got the ball wasn't in. But the thing about it is, 4th and goal, Mister on 5 rush, runs into the end zone for the touchdown. Jeff gets the extra point. 7-7 tie going into the half. Wait for Mister to run the ball in, not having any doubt, not going against his sub because they didn't score on 3rd down. He took it to last down, and they scored a touchdown going into the half, 7-7 tie.
And the thing about it is, I think Disco is more worried about the stats and being the hero in the game or whatnot, right, that he didn't get the touchdown. But he did his job and got them 2 inches within the end zone that all Mister had to do was just run it in. So regardless of what, the drive worked out in the end. Y'all got the score. Mister's playing great right now. Even though he wasn't able to get that first touchdown, he's able to finally get them into the end zone to put them right back up in this game.
Listen.
To put them tied in this game.
If I'm Solar Gang, we only had 2 possessions. You know, both teams seems like they kind of chop the ball up. So that's why I think they only had, usually one team has 3 possessions in the first, one team has 2. Both of the teams here had 2. But listen, if I'm them at the end of the day, we got to be prepared and press up because Mr. don't seem like he's really taking shots downfield. Mr.'s a home run hitter. He likes swinging for the fences. He's not really throwing the ball deep. So we have to learn this game to move up. On the other side, listen, TP has to get more consistent, and these receivers got to continue to make separation. The only one creating separation to make it plays is Los. These other guys have to get involved to help our offense make plays.
And speaking about Primetime, listen, these dudes could have been up. They could have been up 14-7 or at least 13-7 in this game.
True.
They're dropping key passes that you don't need to drop. And that's kind of what throws the quarterback off when he's working his hardest to get their team into the end zone. So they got to make it up to Mister by catching these passes in the second half. Otherwise, he's going to be forced to make plays on his own, and it's not going to end well for them. Their defense is playing decent enough that they only gave up 1 score in the first half. If they're able to stay with that momentum and the offense recovers in the second half, they have a good shot for winning this game.
All right, we're going to jump right into the second half. Mister gets the ball. He's going to throw the disco in the gap for a nice gain and a first down, and he's leveled by Machine. Get that baby out of the street. What a hit by Machine. Definitely laying the pain, but Disco with a good catch. I told you, he's a good offensive player. A veteran, He earned his money on this catch.
I'm going to just say this, though. It looked on that play, it looked like rather than just Machine hitting Disco, it just looked like Disco ran into a brick wall. That's all it looked like, because as soon as Machine came with the contact, it's like Disco bounced right off. But regardless of what, like you said, he was able to come down with the play, and Disco is becoming a big weapon that this defense has no answer for right now. He's getting some big yardage for them here.
Mr. throws a disco again in the gap for a decent game. Second down, Mr. throws a line, he cutting in the front of the end zone. Drop, picked off by Los, giving the ball back to Solar Gang. Listen, I know his name's Lonnie, but they may call him Droppy. This guy is dropping everything. He's single-handedly trying to give the game away. So I don't know if he got money on the game, which is going against his team, because this right here is crazy. We've seen him drop 2 touchdown passes in the front and in the back of the end zone, and I guess he figured, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right and follow it up by dropping the ball that gets intercepted. Shout to Los. The guy is doing anything he can to help this team win a chip on both sides of the ball. Comes away with a great interception, keeps his feet in, and comes away with the ball.
Listen, either 2 things is happening. Either this is Pete Rose level game fixing right now, or this is Lonnie needing to purchase a pair of hands right now. It's one of the 2, but none of them are good. So at the end, right now, he's killing them, like you said, single-handedly, because this is yet another touchdown that Mister pretty much scored. If he catches that ball, it should be 20-7 right now. But because of that, SG has opportunity to steal away the momentum and steal a lead because they have an opportunity here with that bad drop.
They get the ball back. TP on second down, throws in the gap, tipped by Pratt, picked off by Baca, who's going to run it back into the end zone for the touchdown. 14-7 as Juju gets the extra point. 14-7, Primetime.
What just happened there? At the end, listen, you get an opportunity to steal a game away, and you make a mistake right away to give them back the ball and a touchdown. They're struggling on offense, and you give them an opportunity by letting the defense score? What is going on? This was your opportunity in the championship game. You got to read the defense better than that. You know that Brett is spying on this play here. He's waiting for that pass to be thrown. You do not see it. Brett makes a great play getting his hand in, letting Baca have the opportunity to get that interception. Great defense by them, but this is a bad opportunity missed by SG right here.
We got to talk about one thing we didn't mention in the beginning of the game. I mentioned it, but not really. Baca. Baca's a guy that played in the A division. Baca played and won a lot of money for grind time. This guy's a baller. And as soon as Pratt gets his hands up there to put the ball in the air, Baca comes like an Ed Reed to snatch that ball out the air and look right for the end zone. That's how you play the free safety position. And if I'm this Solar game, I agree. We just got the opportunity by getting a great pick by Los, and we give it right back on second down. I don't think these guys got the memo that it's the championship game because they're just giving the ball back and forth. 14-7 now, Primetime. Next play, Baca's going to get flagged with contact on a fair catch, forcing the first down. What do you think of the flag?
I think that this is a merited flag. He was arguing that, he didn't have an opportunity to stop, and he didn't really make that much contact, but it doesn't matter. It's to protect the receiver. This is an NFL rule. Any contact, keyword, any contact after the fair catch signal is a flag. And that's exactly what happened. He just touched him with the hand, but that isn't up to merit flag. You gotta be careful. You gotta pay attention because once the signal is made, you cannot touch the receiving player. Right. And that's exactly what happened with them.
That's gonna be 15 yards. So we're gonna go 4 now. TP on 5 rush tries to run, and he's tagged for a little gain. And the guys are closing in, not allowing him to run the ball. I think the secondary is now pressing up, forcing him to be a quarterback. They stop his run there. Second down, TP scrambles on 5 rush. It's tagged again for a little gain, but nobody's open. Look at the receivers on this. Where do you see the separation? Because I don't see it. There is nobody creating space. The defense is pressing up, and they're forcing TP to run for his life, and he's not making plays. Third down, TP's forced to scramble again. It's tagged again for another short gain. 3 consecutive plays by the defense. Fourth down, TP throws it up. Incomplete. Turnover and downs. Primetime with the stop.
And this is when you're a quarterback that's still trying to figure out the game, which is TP right now. Obviously, this is not all his fault. These guys are not creating any separation, but this is where you have to change up the strategy on offense. This is where a quarterback starts thinking, hey, because they're manning up and they're locking up all around receivers, maybe I should set up some timing routes. Maybe I should make them be in certain positions where I can throw the ball and throw the defense off. So you got to change up the situation because it's not working otherwise. Your offense is not able to put up points in any other way, so you got to change up the strategy right now. TP is not doing that, and because of that, they're getting stopped yet again.
Second down, Mister gets the ball on 5 rush, throws short to Mouse in the gap, runs on the sideline for a nice gain and a big first down. This kid got so much speed. He could make plays. Great play by him there. Then Mr. throws it in the middle again. It's almost picked off by Los. Los is desperately trying to keep his team in the game. Second out, with blocker from Pratt, Mr. runs in the middle for a decent game. Third and goal, Mr. finds Lonnie in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Juan gets the extra point, 22-7. And I'm just shocked that Mr. will go back to Lonnie after Lonnie dropped 2 touchdown passes. Dropped the one that got picked off, and Mr. comes back to him. I'm going to show Lonnie a lot of love by calling him Lonnie. I'm going to just call him Lon. He haven't earned a Lonnie yet, so I'm going to call him Lon. But that's a great play by the quarterback to trust his guy and go to him again. And this time he comes away with something.
Listen, he must have a lucky clover in his pocket because that's the way he's been dropping the ball. That's the only reason why he caught that pass, because he got lucky on that one. And give Mr. some credit by keeping going to him. After like 3 drops this game, including 2 drop touchdown passes. Well, no, 3 drop touchdown passes. I'm sorry. So he had to catch one sometime or another. So give it up to Mr. for finding him anyway and making sure that they get the lead regardless of what happened. He doesn't slow him down, and he's still able to put up points regardless.
Los on a big kick return, getting him to the 30-yard line for now. Listen, Los is doing everything in his power to try to win a championship. Unfortunately, the guys was not playing on the same level, but great play by Los. Second down, after a short pass, CP on 5 rush, throws machine in the gap, almost picked up by Earl. Fourth down at the 10-yard line, TP on 5 rush with the throw in the front of the end zone, tip, almost picked by Pratt. Turnover on downs, giving the ball back to Primetime. Mister's gonna get the ball and run the clock out. End of the game, Primetime comes away with the win, 22-7.
And you got to give it to this team. They didn't play perfect. They had a couple of touchdown passes, well, more than a couple. but they still made sure that they, came with the win. Their defense came out big this game. That
Absolutely.
was the difference maker in this game. Yes, and we're gonna let you know now. Mister was named the MVP of this game, the championship MVP. But to me personally, I think that the defense, the whole defense, deserve the game ball. If they can't win the championship MVP, they deserve the game ball because their play was probably the most consistent throughout the game. They only gave up one touchdown. They were able to lock up on these receivers. They didn't give TP any options on offense where he was scrambling most of the time, and they always found ways to put pressure on him. So this defense is what really won the game from. And shout outs to the defense because they played championship football, and that's why they're champions right now.
I'll go over both teams real quick. First Solar gang. Listen, I know they were upset. It was I think a call, and before the halftime, right before the halftime, they had a situation with the clock. They said official didn't really give them the clock. Kind of went to halftime without them having an opportunity to get the ball. So they may have been right. Maybe the official made the mistake as they went into the half and didn't give them the right clock. And I agree if that's the situation. And it was. Us as a staff have to do better of giving the clock. But I believe he gave the clock, but they said there wasn't consistent enough. Bottom line, it went to half 7-7. At the end of the day, they had the ball 3 times in the second half and gave away 6 points.
Yeah.
With 6. Let me give you their possessions. Touchdown, punt, pick 6, stop, and stop. Their offense was pathetic. They created no separation. Their best receiver on the field for their team was Los. They should have duplicated him and gave him maybe go and remember they cloned the sheep.
Yeah.
They needed to do that with Los.
I mean, he didn't really do his best either because he dropped a big play that
He
probably
did drop a big play.
Yeah.
He had a big kick return.
Yeah.
He had a huge interception, and he caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
You can't do everything. The catch that he dropped, he has to make that catch. That was a tough catch going downfield. He was the only one that created the separation to get open. So I'm not going to let you take that away from him.
No, I'm not. But my thing is, that's why I said, obviously he can't do everything. He didn't play his best, but he did what he had to.
Their offense let them down. Their defense only gave up 2 scores. 2 scores. And missed out to run one of those plays in. Their defense attempted to make the most plays they could. Their offense let them down.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself, I know a lot of people are going to look at the numbers and say, well, Machine got to do this. I'm sorry, TP got to do this. Maybe he's not the quarterback. And I agree. He has to do some things better. But his receivers didn't create no separation. And once the defense saw that, they started pressing up and then shutting down his run game. And on the other side, listen, what Primetime did great was they did not allow Mr. to make mistakes by going downfield. Mr. is a home run hitter. This game, he took the singles. He took the walks. That's what he did. He ran a touchdown in. That's big. He got intercepted once, but it was off of a drop.
Yeah.
The guy played controlled. He didn't give this Solar Gang an opportunity to get back into the game because of his style he was playing, and he killed the clock. That is a great play. That is a mature player. We have an interview with him. I'm going to go to him, and then you can break down what you think at the end.
Yeah.
All right, Ghost. Mr. Thank you for the interview.
Listen,
Go ahead.
listen. I'm gonna just say this. I would give Mister a little more credit than you give him. You said that they didn't allow him to make
His
mistakes.
team, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, but I'm gonna tell you, the way I watched when I was watching Mister out there, it seemed more like he's the one who took control of the offense. He made a lot of proper decisions. He knew exactly what plays to make at what part of at what time on the field or whatever. He subbed in guys when he wanted to. He was calling plays. He was doing everything that a quarterback that should do. He was doing everything that a leader of the team should do. So I don't think he needed that much help. Yes, he had some help on the side, but you got to give him credit. He played like a leading quarterback in this game, and that's why they won a championship. This was a well-deserved championship MVP by Mister. Um, and again, it wasn't just the team help prevent him anything. He made the right decisions to help them win the game.
I
He
don't know if
deserves
you
all the
heard
credit.
me. I don't think don't get me wrong. I don't think Solar Gang stopped him from going downfield. I think Primetime did. I've seen Mr.'s career. He's a home run hitter.
Yeah.
I've seen Mr. Career going for 2 points for no reason. All of a sudden, he changed his style. No, he didn't. What happened was he got with a team that forced him to play in control and forced him to allow his guys to make plays and help him win this game. And when they did that, they won a championship. So you got to I give Mr. credit, but I give his team more credit because they changed his style of play of risk taking. Mr. was all no risk it, no biscuit. He didn't do that this game, and now he's the champion. We're gonna wrap.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying he didn't need to because his defense played really well. So
yeah,
he didn't need to take any risks.
We're gonna wrap this one up with Primetime winning the championship over Solar Gang. Solar Gang. I keep saying it wrong. 22-7. We'll be right back.
Baby. That's it, sick boy. That's for you, sick boy. Talk about it. Tiki.
The champ's here. The champ's here. The champ's here.
Welcome back. Next game up we're going to talk about is Primetime versus the Cycles. Primetime just won a championship. And now they're in the championship again in the C division. First things first, shouts to them for making it back-to-back chips. Little bit of different thing. But you know what? Before we get into the scenes right now, we're going to talk to Pret, get a quick interview with him, and we'll be right back. All right, now that we got that, we're gonna go over the game real quick. Like I said, you got Primetime versus the Psychos. The difference is Primetime quarterback is going to change. It's not Mr. It's Baca. Baca has carried this team to a championship. Definitely played well. But the thing is, Baca has a Lamar Jackson style of play. Strictly a big runner. They like to run the Wildcat, which is, I think, they're the only team in the league that runs that. And they're a very formidable running team. Baca struggles sometimes in some throws. Now, he makes some throws just like Lamar Jackson, but he struggles sometimes throwing a ball with his accuracy. But this is still a very dangerous team, and they still got the same defense. On the other side, they got Psychos. Listen, Psychos got some really good players. Chris from Super Friends, Mace from Super Friends, Benny that play with Monarchs. So they got a lot of talent on the team. Also, they got Leak that played with the Raiders in UFL. So this team has a lot of talent. And their quarterback, Drew. Listen, if I said Mr. was a home run hitter, then Drew is like Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire. You know, that's all they're looking for is Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds. All the guys that use steroids. But strictly bombs away, looking for bleacher seats. That's Drew's game. That's all he knows. That's all he is. That can be very deadly, but it can also be very harmful. So it comes down to that. I think the biggest player in the field is Mace. He has the most experience. He's seen all types of quarterbacks. And this is definitely a game you want to see. You got to see if Primetime is going to come in with a hangover from the last game. Remember, Tiki's not here to coach. So that's a big, important factor in this game.
And they got to understand, even though they won or whatever, it's hard to forget. Like, even though Pratt can say whatever he wants about, that they can control themselves or whatever for the next game, it's really hard to take away and forget what just happened.
Yes.
Because you're on a high.
Yes.
It's a natural thing to be on a high when you win a championship.
Yes.
So to come back down to earth within a few minutes to play another championship is almost unrealistic. So they got to understand that even though they feel like they can do it, it's going to be really hard to do so, especially knowing that you're playing a completely different team, another talented team with a lot of playmakers. So they got to know, I don't know how they're going to be able to sober up, but they're going to have to do it for this game because they do face a really tough team in the Psychos team.
All right, we're going to jump right into the game with Primetime getting the ball first. Baca is going to throw the juju in the middle for a decent game, picking up a first down. Third down after 2 short runs, Baca throws some mouse on the sideline, off target and drop. Last down, Baca's going to throw it up, incomplete, turnover on downs, giving it back to the Psychos. And this is what I'm talking about. A little bit of inconsistency on this drive, especially it being the first drive of the game. They wasn't really able to move the ball, and they ended up getting stopped.
And, obviously you saw problems with that drive. Right after those 2 runs, they didn't really get much yardage, and then he throws and misses that pass to Mouse there. That was a play that probably could have got them to the end zone, but they don't get that yardage because he was off target. Understand that when you don't make the right plays, the defense is going to capitalize. So this could have been a lot worse than it was, but unfortunately for them, it just leads to them turning over the ball.
Second down, Drew throws the jail in the middle. That pass can be dropped, almost picked off by Sears. Got to find a way to get that. He doesn't, and they get the save. Third down, Drew throws it Benny in the gap, who makes a catch for a nice gain and the first down. Benny's a baller. Benny's a star who is on his way to be a superstar. Now, I think he kind of loves the camera a little too much.
Yeah.
But listen,
understatement.
When you're making plays, and he comes up with a big play here. Drew throws it Benny again in the gap, who runs for a big gain, getting to the 7-yard line. Like I said, Benny right now to me is a young baller. He's a star. He's trying to become a superstar, but he's a star. The kid is similar to, if you was thinking of basketball, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, a guy who's a star that's trying to get on the superstar level. This kid is definitely on the right path. 4th and goal, Drew on 5 rush, rolls right, throws it Benny in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Lee gets the extra point. 7-0 Psychos. If you look here, Benny gets behind Pratt, and Drew finds it.
This whole drive was Benny all the way. You saw him make that big catch after Sears almost makes the interception. He catches the play over Sears, has some words for him, you know, talking smack or whatnot, then gets that big play going downfield, and then finds himself in the end zone. Rolling with Drew as Drew has to run away from the defense. Then he knows to be in the right place at the right time. Like you said, star on his way to superstar. This kid is talented. He has IQ to know exactly what to do on the field, and he's able to help his team score right here for the touchdown.
After getting the first down, Baca throws deep to Ty in the back of the end zone, knocked away by Benny. Third down, Baca throws to Jeff in the middle, drop, and Primetime I have to punt. Listen, this is the issue. They're not making plays. Benny comes away with a big play, a big defensive play to stop a potential big play for Primetime on the offensive side of the ball, and then they get a drop. Primetime again, back-to-back possessions, back-to-back stops. You can't play like this in the championship game. You can't tell me them winning the chip the first game did not leak over to the second game. They do not look like the same team. Second down, Drew throws a leak in the middle, almost picked off by Brett. Cycles can't get any further, and they're gonna have to punt. Listen, that's how you back up your quarterback. If he's struggling, then your defense has to step up and make plays. They do. They're able to stop Cycles from trying to take a 2-touchdown lead. Shout to that defense. They make a stop, forcing Cycles to punt.
And this is the one thing you do not want to forget from that last game. They played really good defense, so they show that they're still capable of doing that right off of that last game. They're able to stop them here, stopping the opportunity for Cycles to run away with this game. So they're able to make a big stop with their defense. Hopefully their momentum gets to pick up on the offense, but that's good defense there.
Baca gets the ball on 5 rush, runs in the middle for a nice gain, picking up the first down, using them legs to start moving the ball. Second down, Baca throws to Jeff, cutting in the gap, almost picked off by Lee. Third down, Baca throws to Juan in the middle. That one is going to be knocked away. Primetime can't get much further, and they turn over the ball. That is another stop. And this is another thing that you do not see Primetime able to move the ball. The Cycles defense do not respect Baca's arm. They do not think he can beat them with his arm, and they're playing the defense as they're not worried about it. They have to find a way to make plays. Just running the ball ain't going to work, and now they get stopped again. Last play before half, JR throws it up. It's going to be incomplete going into the half. 7-0 Cycles.
And right now, Primetime is not looking good. They got to remember that, yes, they came off of that championship in the C2, but understand it's not the exact same team. This is a tough team in the Cycles that they're playing right now, and they do not have the same quarterback. So what worked in that last game is not going to work in this game, as you can see with Baca struggling right here. Their defense is trying their best. They're holding them to only the other team to only 7 points, but it's not enough if your offense cannot move off the ground and get into the end zone. They're dropping passes. Baca's not accurate. He's not able to run. That is not a good formula if you're moving into the second half and is able to make any plays. They got to fix that in a second. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble.
If I'm the Cycles, I'm not worrying about Baca at all. I don't respect his arm. I don't think he can beat me with his arm. Has to beat me with his legs. And we're going to take that away. That's why we put Chris at ball giver. The one guy that could run with him is Chris. And we're going to bring pressure. So now it's time in the second half that we turn it up and bring more pressure, because this guy can't beat us with his arm. So now we're not going to let him sit in the pocket. We're going to go get him, and we'll see what happens in the second half. Primetime go onside. The ball bounces before the 50. JR picks it up, pass Pat, and turns it into a big gain. Get him to the 10-yard line, 4 and out. Brett thought he got the tag. What do you think of the play?
It's hard to see because there's another player that steps in the middle of the shot, so there's no way for me to see if Brett gets the tag here. But because they're not attacking where the ball is at, JR is able to pick up the ball and sprint down the field without the defense able to react in time, and that is why he is able to get that big yardage. You cannot play lazily if you're throwing an onside ball. You got to make sure that you're there, and they don't, and because of that, they're able to get huge yardage for this drive.
I have a question. Was there a whistle?
No, of course not.
So if there was no whistle, that means he wasn't what?
He wasn't tagged.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear Brett. I don't want to hear what he got to say. I don't care if he's jumping up and down. If there was no whistle, that means he wasn't tagged. And my thing is, why would you give this guy a running lane to get the ball? Where's everybody else if you went onside? They get to the 10-yard line. That is a huge play by the Psychos. Second down, Drew rolls right. Throws to Mason in the corner end zone. Picked up by Earl, giving it back to Primetime. What a play by Earl. Right when they needed a big play, right when the Psychos is able to take a commanding lead, Earl comes away with a huge interception, giving Primetime back.
And this is Drew making the worst mistake that you could possibly make. You're in the red zone on first down, and you telegraph a pass to a player with the defender right there. If you look, Earl is standing there the whole way. And as Drew is moving towards Mace, Mace is calling for the ball. But Earl is watching. By the time Drew's able to react and throw the ball, Earl is right there stepping up to make the pick. That is good defense IQ right there for Earl. Staying there and watching the quarterback, he's able to make that interception to prevent a touchdown that could have stolen the game away from them.
Second down, Baca gets the ball. Primetime gets the ball back. Second down, Baca on 5 rush. Rolls left, throws a football in the gap. Picked off by Mace, who runs it back into the end zone for the touchdown. Manny gets the extra point. 14 Zion. Psychos. If you look here, this is a terrible play by Baca. And I told you in the second half that the Psychos were going to bring pressure. Mace had to strategize the whole time. Look how Manny comes to bring the pressure. And as soon as the pressure comes on the help, Baca's going to throw the ball, and you can see Mace coming up to make the play. Mace knew this play. This was a set-up play, and it's checkmate. They get the pick, back for the touchdown. Great play, great strategy, and play by Mace and his defense.
This is how you know that this play was strategized the whole way. Because they get there, one of their fastest guys to run from the sideline and catch Baca off guard. So even though this is a risky play, sending your cornerback, and leaving the sideline open, by the time Baca sees the rush coming in, there's no way for him to go, and he's not able to react in time, and that is why he forces that pass, throws an interception, and calls the pick six there. So this is a great strategy to catch him off guard, and Mace is there to get the interception for the pick six there.
See, the cool thing about it was you said that they took a big risk, right?
Yeah.
But why would you take a risk if you're worrying about a guy who can throw the ball downfield?
Yeah.
They didn't think it was a risk, because even if he makes the throw somewhere in the vicinity where the defender left, they're not scared of him. So to them, it's no risk, because Baca's been struggling all day. So they bring the pressure, 14-0 Psychos. Baca gets the ball back. He hands the ball to Mouse, who runs on the sideline for a nice gain and a first down. Second down, after a short run, Baca throws a Juju in the corner of the end zone, who makes the catch but can't stay inbounds, incomplete. Tell me the play and what you think about the official on the call.
And if you look at this play was so close, because Juju makes a nice catch in the corner of the end zone. Unfortunately, if you look at his second foot coming down, it looks like as soon as he plants his foot, it's standing on the line. And it's that close that if you look at the official there, he's right in the middle of the shot. It looks like he's going a single touchdown, but he sees how Juju lands, and he immediately changes to incomplete, because he's right there falling out of bounds, and you see his foot touch the line. So it couldn't be any closer than that. That is a great effort by Juju, but it's unfortunate that he's not able to get his foot inbounds enough for it to be called a touchdown.
Great call by the official. Officials don't get a lot of props for the things that they do, but because, listen, everybody would think that was a touchdown. So his first reaction was, it looks like a touchdown. But he didn't make the call. He looked at it and allowed everything to process, and he made a good call. We saw the camera back to what he says. Great call by the official. Unfortunate, but Juju got to keep his foot in. Got to help his quarterback out. Third down, Baca on 5 rushes, sacked by Manny. Manny gets by the blocker as Baca tries to run. They are sending help. They do not fear Baca's legs. And what they're doing is they got Chris coming in, neutralizing the block. And then they have Manny coming in on the blitz, on the 5 rush. He's timing it perfect. The thing about that is this neutralizes having a blocker. Because if that's the case, I'd rather have him go one-on-one against Chris. You have a blocker that's not having time to block because the Cycles are sending extra help. And it's hurting Baca's game. They turned it up in the second half. Great play by them there. Last down, Baca throws it up in the back of the end zone. Incomplete, turnover on downs. Cycles come away with another stop.
And if you look at that play where Manny rushes in, the funny thing is they had 2 blockers on that play. But because they have 2 blockers on that play coming protecting the quarterback, that takes away from an extra receiver that's on the field, giving Baca one less option out there. So this hurts all around that you have to have protection there. And it still doesn't matter because Manny's still able to get around to put pressure on Baca anyway. So whatever their strategy is, it is not working. They have not switched it up. And all this Cycles team is doing is putting more and more pressure and is creating turnovers right here on defense.
Cycles run 3 short plays to kill the clock and they're punting. So that wasn't even really an attempt to score. They was just trying not to make a mistake. They ran some clock and they're gonna end up punting, giving the ball back. Second down, Baca throws a pass, but it's blocked by Chris at giver and it's incomplete. Third down, Baca throws a one on the sideline, high, incomplete. Fourth down, Baca throws it up short to Mouse in the gap. Picked up by Benny, pretty much ending the game because Cycles get the ball back on offense. They're going to just run out the clock, winning the game, and this team is the C Division champs coming away with the win.
And that is huge defensive play towards the second half. Like you said, they did not fare Baca's play, Baca at quarterback. They did not fare him making any plays that they had much to worry about. So because of that, they put pressure on him. They took risk by taking him off of an extra receiver, and they put pressure on him, and it worked. They got a pick 6 from it. They got some turnovers from it. They threw a pick to end the game from it. So that was their strategy. They did enough for offense, and they focused on the defense, putting pressure on Baca, and they ultimately sealed the deal for the win for them.
We're going to go to a few of the interviews, and then we'll be right back. What's going on? Stephen J here with Mace, captain of the Cycles. They just came away with a chip. They beat Primetime 20-0. When you go over the game, we had 20-0. You threw a bomb to Chris, game was pretty much over, had a pick 6, you know what I mean? So it seems like your defense was the main catalyst of the game. Was that the idea coming into the game?
Yes, it was. Definitely defense, man. We knew what Baca wanted to do. He liked to hold the ball. He liked to run. He liked to keep a blocker. So, was big. We put Chris at giver. He can't outrun Chris. Then we had Manny. He can't outrun none of them. So, force him to be a quarterback. That's it, man. Just play. Get close to the man next to you.
Tell me about the 2 blitz system that y'all set up. That was an amazing thought coming in because people know he's the Lamar Jackson of this league. So y'all allow him to get those little runs, but you shut down the big runs and you burn the extra pressure, which neutralizes their blocking. Yeah. Where did you come up with that strategy for that game?
Well, my first game with the Cycles, we played this team. He was running on us, you get what I'm saying? So, I'm pretty much a vet in this. You think you're going to come with the same look, but it's not. I knew with Chris at giver, Chris goes to a certain side. He has to go to the opposite side. He don't know that there's an extra man coming.
Right.
So we were just switching up. Sometimes it was Shane, sometimes it was Manny, and he didn't know what to do with that.
You and Benny are co-MVPs. I haven't heard that in a long time. So what is it like to know you're sharing the co-MVP with Benny?
He's a dog. He's a dog, man. He's a dog. Well-deserved. Well-deserved. He's a dog. That right there, well-deserved. My man right here, well-deserved. Yo, look out for these guys, man.
We're going to jump up with y'all 2 right here. We're going to jump right here. You in league. Listen, y'all the newcomers coming into the league. Y'all the young guys taking over. Mace already gave y'all a shout-out. What is to know to have your guy Mace doing that for y'all? He's a veteran. To put that on y'all, saying that y'all the next generation.
Me coming into Rough Touch, Mace is like a good role model. I'm not a defensive player, but Mace brung that dog out of me. So, us helping the Cycles, but Mace was like a big part of the help for the team, playoffs, regular season. So I appreciate you, big bro.
I mean, coming from a flag team, bringing it to a Rough Touch league, And staying together the whole time and not breaking apart and winning the chip first season is great, and I wouldn't trade this team for anybody else.
Benny, you say you was going to have a big game. You had a pick. You had a touchdown. You was co-MVP with Mace. What is like how was you able just to hit the switch and turn it on to make these big plays?
I mean, I'm hurt. I broke my ribs in the Final Four, and I'm quiet. But somebody was talking to me before the game, and I don't do all that chit-chat. I had to make 3 big catches, touchdown. I had to shut them up real quick. Defense, locked down, no scores, and you already know what happened after that. Picks, and it was over. Shut them down.
Mace, last question. They kind of got hyped when they won the chip before in the C2. And they was like, we're going 2-0. Did y'all take that? Because that's when y'all was coming into the park. Did y'all take that kind of like personal when you heard that?
I knew we was going to zip them up. They got.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Like, they had nothing for us, and he wasn't ready for the scheme. He wasn't ready for that. So, champions, man.
We're going to thank Mace for being here. Leak, Benny, these guys are champs. That was the thing that they said when they got in to do it, and they did it, and you got to give them shouts. Congratulations to you guys, man.
Appreciate it, Jay.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Always on
They seem to neutralize your blocking as far as protecting Baca because they sent 2 the whole time. And then you seen him throw a big pick 6, and he threw 2 interceptions total in the game. Did you think maybe that y'all should have adjusted him more when they started sending 2?
Actually, we wanted that, but he read it wrong. Like, he threw off his back foot. Because we basically sent somebody to the blitz's spot, which was the right thing to do. But he threw off his back foot. He wasn't, and it flooded, and it gave Mace an opportunity to step in front and do it.
The defense played a great game. Earl had a big interception at the red zone. If you think about it, the pick 6 and the last bomb that they threw in the game was pretty much over. That defense only gave up 6 points. 7 points total. Technically, do you think that y'all put too much pressure on them to try that the offense just couldn't step up and do them?
That's exactly what it was. Our offense just didn't show up the second game. I mean, look, like I said, people have bad games, people have good games. Sometimes it's just not in the cards. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do I think they beat us? No, we beat ourselves. I give them credit and all the credit in the world because at the end of the day, they scored more points than we did. And we didn't score. But that's also a telltale. We didn't score. Our defense gives up 7 points the first drive and then shut them out basically the rest of the game. But we didn't score. So it doesn't matter anything I can say. I can't badmouth our defense at all.
All right, we're going to thank Quick for being with us. Thank you. Tough to come.
We got 1 chip, though. I didn't get that winning chip.
Well, we took the prep. Oh, we got you. We're going to thank you. Thanks for the interview. We appreciate you, bro. Come on, Ghost. Shout out to them guys. Thanks for the interview. Always appreciate it. Listen, Baca always comes to a roadblock, I want to say, in the playoffs because it's just accuracy throwing struggles. And, they missed Tiki because I think Tiki would have strategized a little better with what Mace and these cycles was doing. When you look at the stats, the cycles had the ball 6 times. I'm sorry. When you look at the stats, Primetime had the ball 6 times. They went 0 for 6 with 2 interceptions, and one of those was a pick 6. The Primetime defense that just gave up 7 points to Solar Gang in the last championship gave up 7 points again. Drew, Cycles didn't allow Drew to lose the game for them. Drew only threw 1 touchdown pass. The defense got a pick 6. They ran plays and punted. So their strategy was our defense is going to win this game for us. And they did that. And unfortunately, the situation with Baca is the same situation Lamar Jackson comes. The more you get further in the playoffs, the harder the teams get and teams adjust. Mace had this strategy once he knew he was playing this team in the championship. He knew it. And he saved the main part for the second half. And that's when they sent a lot of pressure and help. And Baca struggled. Baca got to get more accurate. Juju got to keep his foot in on that touchdown pass to help them out. They made mistakes. You can't make those type of mistakes. They brought the pressure after Earl had just made a great interception in the red zone. And they threw a pick six right back. That's how you lose championships. And that's exactly what they did. This wasn't a blowout. They didn't get mercy. They lost because they couldn't score points. And what frustrates me more is they just played a quarterback in the C2 division that couldn't put up points.
Yeah.
But with a team that pressed them and forced them to be a quarterback, they did the same thing to Baca. You just did it and had it done to you. And that's what's losing you games. That's why they needed their coach here, because he would have adjusted. Now, Tiki wasn't here. We're going to get an interview with him, hopefully. And we'll show the interview at the end of this. So, listen, do I think they're a good team? Yes. Do I think they can win a championship with Baca at quarterback? No. Not until they adjust. That running game is not going to work until not only you're successful going downfield, you have to have a threat that everybody worries about that can stretch the field. They don't have that.
Yeah.
They need a threat that everybody knows, that they know the safety's got to play back, because you do that with that kid Mouse and Baca being able to run the ball, they're going to hurt teams. But they didn't have that. They didn't really have anybody with enough speed and size to stretch the field. And Psychos played this perfectly, like a game of chess. And like I said before, Mason, these Psychos came away with a checkmate.
And the thing, like you said, they didn't have no options, especially any options to stretch the field. And I think that made a difference. And that's why all you have to do is put pressure on them. It makes sense that you would understand that the same strategy that you used on the opposing quarterback in the last game, they did the same thing to you, and then you don't adjust. Even if it's taking Baca out and having somebody else throw. This is the championship. So you do whatever you have to win. They did not adjust. They just thought that pushing a square through a circle box, through a circle, block or whatever was going to help, or it's going to work. And it doesn't matter. It didn't work. Nothing changed. Towards the end of the game, they didn't change anything, so the outcome didn't change. So at the end of the day, because they didn't adjust, that is why they're going home with nothing. I guess they can go home with just one championship, even though they wanted two. They had an opportunity, and they gave this one away because they didn't adjust their game in the end.
Well, you just said something perfect, and that they did. And what is it saying for insanity?
Doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
Exactly. They didn't adjust in the second half, and they didn't come up with a strategy, especially when they did the same thing to a quarterback that they just played in the last championship. The only thing that the Cycles did different was they brought more pressure.
Yeah.
Because they said, we know you can't throw that ball downfield. We dare you to throw the ball downfield. And now the Cycles a chance. Shout out to them. We're going to wrap this up and the show up. Listen, we're going to thank the BQFL for bringing this on to do what we do. We appreciate y'all guys. Had a great time. Hope y'all guys enjoyed the new Tuff cam. That's a little camera we have on the side, action cam. We call it the Tuff cam. So hopefully I appreciate that. Listen, it was an honor doing this. We thank y'all. Hopefully I'll see us in more championship games. We will be probably doing championship games for all leagues. Obviously we do a contract because, gotta be compensated. Unfortunately, it's a job. But we would love to do it. We love to be a part of it. And you'll see us in a lot of different areas doing a lot of different things. So we're going to wrap this one up on behalf of Real Tough Talk. I'm Stephen J. It's my partner Ghost. We're gonna see y'all guys next time on another episode of Real Tough Talk. We want to thank y'all guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all guys soon, man. Thank you. We out of here.
Like the crowd. You talk shit to me and look. Don't even want to cap it. Let's go, Luke. Yeah, Luke. Luke Daddy.
All right, people. Like I told y'all, at the end of the show, we have a special treat for you. We was able to get Tiki, Coach Tiki, coach of the Primetime, I would say. And definitely we want to thank you, yo, Tiki. Thank you for being with us on Real Tough Talk, man. Appreciate you.
No, it's always a pleasure, Jay. Always a pleasure. You and Ghost. Love what y'all do. Keep it up.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
We're going to jump right into it. 2 championship appearances in the C and the C2.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And you're not there. Everybody in the park wants to know, our viewers want to know, how can you help guide this team to 2 championships in 2 divisions and you're not there on championship day?
Well, we spoke all week. They didn't know. My captain didn't know, and the co-coach Quick didn't know because I purposely didn't tell them until maybe Friday night, Saturday night actually, Friday night, Saturday morning, because I wasn't sure. I was still trying. Let it be known. I wound up catching COVID.
Okay.
I found out Friday night that I got tested positive for COVID, so I was still gonna come to the game. I really was. I was gonna stay outside the park because you know how Holland is set up. But I just didn't have the energy. I had no energy. And it wasn't even me being there. It was more of the drive to get there from Philly. If I was still in Brooklyn, I would have came. I'd have just been outside the park. But that's what happened. And yeah, I missed 2 games, but we game planned all week. Like I said, I didn't want their mindset to be thinking about me not being there and not at the game, because the team didn't know themselves until the game time when it showed up.
Right.
I didn't let them know on purpose. And I told Quick and Prep not to tell them, let's just game plan and we go from there.
Before we get into the game, how are you going to coach from outside of the park? Like, I want to know how will you have done that? Please, just I'm not even going to make any funny jokes or anything. I just want you to tell me, how was you going to be able to do it? I am going to make a funny joke. You was going to FaceTime or give signals like baseball. Like, what were you going to do?
Jay, in Holland, the turf field, if we got the side where the benches is at, the gate in the field is right there.
Right.
Now, if we'd have had the other side, that'd have been different because I wouldn't have been able to see through each other. But I'd have made sure we got the bench side where the tennis courts is at. And I'd have been right there. And it's actually a higher view. I actually would have had a bird's eye view. I'd have been able to see easier. So I'd have made sure we got the side with the tennis court. But, I wasn't there. We game planned. The plan worked out. I ain't going to tell because of the show, but you know what's going on. We know what happened.
We're going to talk about the game plan because what was the strategy? That's what we want to know coming into playing against Solar Gang. But bigger than that, the strategy against their quarterback, TP, very mobile quarterback. What was your strategy going up against him?
Well, I told Quick and I told Pratt, they beat us in regular season. It was bad field conditions. We couldn't catch him running, and he had a good game. We knew if we can stop him from running, the game plan, stop him from running, make him beat us with his arm. If he could beat us with his arm, we'll tip our hat and they'll be the champions. If he can't beat us with his arm, they will not be the champions. It was that simple. That was the game plan for that game. Stop him from running, make him become a passer. He can't pass and beat us, they won't win.
Yeah, because I'm looking at his numbers, and he threw a touchdown on the first drive, but then that was it. They punted, he threw a pick 6, and you stopped him 2 more times. So I understand where you're coming from with the strategy. Definitely, it came out to be what it needed to be. But what was your plan? Now, you got Mr. We didn't really see him go downfield. Everybody know Mr.'s a home run hitter. Like taking that shot downfield. It's not really a mobile quarterback. He can run once in a blue. He ran it for a touchdown this game. But he's more of a downfield, like we said it, no risk it, no biscuit quarterback. and he barely threw the ball downfield. How was you able to change Mr. style, especially coming into this championship game?
Actually, I told Mr. from day one, do what you like to do. As long as you do what you like to do and you're comfortable, let me and Pratt and Quick change, just critique your game a little bit. You always want to go for the home run. If it's not, I'm not telling you not to throw it, but if it's not there, there's no need for it. If you could take your time matriculating the ball down the field, teams are used to you always throwing deep. So they're going to play deep, which is just open up everything else underneath. And he started doing that, and he started incorporating our run game, and it made life easier for him. I believe it made life easier for him. He won a chip doing it this way, so you can't complain.
No, that's true. I mean, he did. When I looked at his numbers, like I said, the game, he played a very good game. He threw a touchdown. He ran a touchdown. He threw an interception, but it wasn't his fault because Lonnie bobbled the ball and it got picked off. So that wasn't on Mister. He actually threw pretty well. And it's the fact that you didn't have him take too many risks, I think is what definitely cost Solar Gang off like their game. They didn't expect it to be like that. Last question before we get into the next game. How does it feel to win a championship from your house? How does that feel?
Oh, I would never do it again, Jay. You don't know what I was going through, calling guys. And I didn't want to call nobody on our team that was on the sideline because I wanted them focusing on the game and not on me because they're bigger than me in the game. But I had my little inside, my wink, my little people like you always have. I had my little birdies keeping me. I was throwing out certain plays through my little birdies, telling them certain things, but I didn't want to be a distraction. I just wanted to be updated. So Pratt and Quick, they ran everything. I didn't get to speak to them during the game or not even halftime. But I had my little updates. I had my little things going in. But like I said, we game plan very well. And we're veterans, and the team is veteran. The players are new, but the core team is veterans. So they know how to, adjust and make our game plan work. So I heard TP scored the first drive, and we wasn't even worried. I actually heard it was a breakdown. So, and I think it was because of Creek, but, we adjusted it. He scored the first drive and didn't score again.
All right.
Right. So now we get to the next game. Go ahead, Ghost.
All right. Yeah. I just have one question. As we transition to the next game, I just have one question. You have two different quarterbacks that you coach on both teams for the C2 and the C. How do you transition? What are the differences in terms of advice do you give each quarterback in terms of when you talk to Mister about how he approached this game? What different advice would you do you give Baca knowing that he is a different quarterback on a different team in a different division? What type of advice do you give him for his game?
Honestly, Ghost, it was really hard because at least I knew what I was getting with Mister. I personally had no idea what I was getting with Baca because Baca wasn't supposed to be the quarterback. Baca was just filling in. But that was some in-house turmoil where Baca wound up being a permanent quarterback and he got us to the chip. So as the season went along, that's when I was able to figure out what's Baca's strengths and what's his weaknesses. And he listened. Like, he's a hard-nosed player on defense, I know, but we used to play against him with grind time. Baca listened. Baca is very smart. He's just, without his legs, I heard he got hurt in the chip game. Without his legs, that just changes his whole dynamic. That's just like any running quarterback. If they don't have their legs, if they're used to using their legs, they don't have their legs, you make them one-dimensional. And we, Psychos made Baca one-dimensional.
Let's backpedal a little bit. You say he ended up being the starting quarterback. Who was the original starting quarterback, and why did it change? What was the turmoil that will have you change the most important position on the field?
Jay, it wasn't by my choice. Macho was supposed to be the quarterback. I don't know what happened. I mean, end of the day, as y'all always say, I don't know what happened. He was in contact with me. He was coming to some of the game. He was at the playoff game. But at that point, it was like, I'm not making the switch. Baca got us here, so we're just going to finish it out. But Macho, going into the season, was the starting quarterback.
Okay. So now we get to the game. And my only pet peeve, grind my gears is you just beat a running quarterback by shutting down his ability to run. You play a team like the Psychos, and you yourself in this game have a running quarterback. Baca played terrible. His numbers, he went 0 for 6. They had 6 possessions. Yeah, I didn't score on any possessions. He threw 2 interceptions and 1 was a pick 6. They neutralized your running game. They brung pressure. My problem is why would y'all be so arrogant to run a certain defense versus a mobile quarterback and not expect the Psychos, led by Mace, smart guy, to run the same exact strategy versus your running quarterback?
The difference in that is we have a running game without using our quarterback. I don't know what happened with our running game without using our quarterback, but that run sets up everything that we do. And I wasn't there, but I heard we ran the ball. We just didn't do it consistently. And I can't tell you about as far as the play calling go, but the game plan going in was to run the ball. We know that if it was with Baca, it's definitely with our running back Mouse or with Creek, but I heard Creek wound up leaving, so he wasn't even there.
Yeah, see, I don't understand how you got a veteran. You're not there, but Quick is there. Pratt is there.
Right.
How you got guys leaving and y'all don't change your strategy? Baca was 0 for 3 in the first half. Second half, you don't think it's time to make a switch? I've seen Quick throw the football, and he definitely has a stronger arm than Baca. He's a home run hitter. Quick again. He's not mobile, but he can throw the football. Why wouldn't somebody decide, you know what? It's time to sit Baca down. We're in this game. It's only 7-0. Let's try something different. Why would you stick to the same quarterback if it's not working?
Well, Jay, to be honest with you, I think that's the reason why the switch wasn't made, because it was only 7-0. I really honestly believe the switch wasn't made because it was 7-0. And the fact that I wasn't there, Quick, you have to look at it, not too many seasons ago, Quick was in that same position as quarterback. When we lost in the championship, the power circle,
Yes.
and it was zip at halftime. He didn't want to get pulled. And now this for 7 zip at halftime, it's hard to pull a quarterback and you're only down a touchdown. It's very hard. I did get the little kite that they were going to pull him, but we wound up getting they wound up giving up a touchdown. I think it was made it 20 zip, but I think when it was 13 zip, it was a decision made that Quick was going in the quarterback the next drive, but they wound up scoring with like 3 or 4 minutes left to go in the game, so they just let him finish it out. But
yeah,
that's why the quarterback change wasn't made.
Yeah, they gave you bad information because that didn't happen. The game was only 14-0. Y'all lost. So it was only 2 and the Psychos coming in the game offensively. First of all, your defense played great. But what I'm going to say about their offense is the fact that Drew's a home run hitter the same way. They limited the times he threw the ball downfield. They changed the strategy and they focus on he threw an interception, right? But they kind of limited. It seemed like they scored and killed the clock. And in the second half, when they got the pick 6, they once again hold the next drop. They killed the clock. So it seems like they wasn't trying to get a shootout. They didn't feel like they need to shoot out with y'all. So I think y'all lost not because y'all played terrible overall. I think the offense wasn't working in the first half. I think you needed to make a switch, and you say because the game, I think nobody had the cojones to pull Baca because you're not there. Baca listens to you. That doesn't mean he's listening to everybody else. I think that's why he didn't get pulled.
I don't agree with you totally. I mean, I might have made a quicker switch, but I'm pretty sure Pratt would have pulled him. Pratt would have took him. Quick may not have took him out right away, but if Pratt felt the need to, Pratt pulled me out of game. So if Pratt could pull me out of the game, he would have pulled Baca out of the game. So it had to be something going on that I don't know about that they kept him in. I'm pretty sure it was spoke on, but I don't think it was far as nobody having enough heart to pull him out of the game. They pulled the GM, me out the game.
Okay.
So I know they would have pulled Baca out the game. So, but like I said, maybe you're right. I got bad information, but heard it was 7-zip at halftime. And at that point, he got us to the chip. You let him fight through it. And then that pick 6 happened. I heard they was going to make the change then, but I wasn't there. But I don't think, if the way the game was playing, I don't think I would have pulled him either, Jay, at 7-zip. Actually, I know I wouldn't have pulled him at 7-zip. I wouldn't have pulled him at 7-zip.
They strategized when we talk about the pick 6. They were bringing the second half. They were bringing Manny on the blitz. So basically, it wasn't really a blitz. Manny was coming in on 5 rush, and they put Chris at the ball giver to neutralize Baca's running game. So that should have been a sign already. And then, like I said, they brought Manny in. Now you had a blocker, but because they were bringing Manny, it neutralized the blocker because they were sending 2. So my thought to you is, if I'm going to do that, I'd rather have Baca on a one-on-one with Chris and not even have a blocker and take my shots here and there downfield. Now you had one play that he threw the ball to Juju, and Juju cannot help him. Juju didn't get both feet down. I think that was a huge play because y'all would have scored. So I think it was some points that y'all left on the field. But I think overall, you know, I just was frustrated with the way y'all played because I didn't think that y'all strategized the same way y'all strategized against TP. Y'all didn't think that they were going to come and do the same thing to you, especially when y'all ran the Wildcat all season. This team was prepared for that Wildcat, and I think y'all ran it a little too much, and it kind of gave away. Y'all kind of showed your hand kind of early.
But yeah, we did run that RPO a lot during the season, but what I was told, we didn't do it in the chip game. And when you say we didn't strategize, we did strategize on defense. You see, we slowed Drew down. It wasn't the defense. They didn't.
The offense. The offense.
Yeah, we had a game plan going in, and the RPO, I don't think we did it enough in that chip game. And that's because Baca was hurt. He wasn't a threat for them running. Psychos wasn't worrying about him running. You just told me they had Chris at the ball giver. That's an excellent. So even one-on-one without a blocker, Chris would have been able to catch Baca even if he's healthy.
Yeah, you know, Chris played for you. So
right. So even if he's healthy, he would have been able to catch Baca. So just keeping a blocker there actually didn't benefit us because Chris could catch Baca one-on-one. Now we keeping a blocker there, which keeps away one of our receivers, and they're sending a blitz. But what we should have been doing is filling in where they was blitzing from.
Correct.
Should have been having somebody fill them to make them adjust. They made an adjustment. Now it was our turn to make them adjust, and we didn't make them adjust, and they won.
And I think you should have attacked Mace more. Mace made a big play on a pick 6, but that's when they had a setup on that play. I think Mace is a good. Mace is not a defender. You know that. I know that. I think y'all should have put Mace on more one-on-ones in order to attack him. I think because of the way y'all wasn't really getting open, and when they brought that extra blitz in, Baca just was trying to get rid of the ball. Mace already was coming up, and he picked it off. So, but before I get to the next thing, shout out to Baca though, because he played great defensively. He had a huge pick 6. So you got to give that guy props, like you said, since grind time. That kid is a baller. The question now is, what happens now going to the future? Will we see y'all playing in the spring?
Oh yeah, we're coming back. We're coming back.
Both divisions?
Yes, we're coming back. That's without a doubt. We're coming back. We just retooling. We got some of our old players back. Thank you. And right now, you know, I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but we got some of our main core players back. Ones that were around when we was winning chips at the chips. We got some of our core players back.
Will Baca be a starting quarterback?
Baca doesn't want a quarterback. So we're gonna nip that in the bud right now. Me and Baca spoke. He feel like he let us down. He's a warrior. He wants to compete. Yes. But he told me himself that, yo, that's such and such quarterback. I just don't want to say who. They'll find out Sunday. And that was from him, out of his own word. So he played at least I know I got a backup now. Especially when I got the one of the most talented, idiot quarterbacks on our team forever as in Creep. That's just another story for another time. But he don't leave. Maybe we make that switch earlier with Creep. Who knows? Maybe they just didn't want to make that switch quick because he would have been only other choice. Berto's hurt. He's retired. Mr. Football just retired also. We got a lot of old guys, but you see our faces is young now. So we almost tried to put Kai in at quarterback, but then he's still running. So we're working it out. We got some of our players back, like I stated. We'll be back in both divisions, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I'm glad you brought up football. I wanted to bring him up. He announced his retirement after these games. Tell me something about football and what you're going to miss most about him.
He's dedicated. I mean, he may not be one of the most talented dudes on our team, but he's dedicated. One thing he does, when he starts talking, he doesn't shut up. We could be up 40. We could be down 40. He will not shut up. And you know what? Sometimes we laugh at it. Sometimes Quick tries to tell him, yo, shut up, Ed. Edmonds, he won't shut up. He's just like an energizer to us. He's an energizer to us. I mean, like I say, he's not one of the most talented players, but he leaves it out on the field. He plays hard. He's one of our good tight ends. And that's all I can say. Like, it was great having him as a teammate.
All right. Anything else, Ghost?
Well, I just wanted to say, you've coached Primetime for a very long time. You've been part of this franchise for a while, won multiple championships with them. But you notice that every now and then when you play every season, there's always, enough of certain guys to say that, it's not the same team as the last time or whatever. Sometimes there's a lot of fresh faces. So what are the things that you do when you transition into that, when you have new guys you have to coach and bring them into the fold? And what are the things that you make sure you stay the same to make sure your team is still Primetime as a whole?
Ghost, I'm glad that you said that because we're going through something right now, something that we never went through before because we were a family. We never really let outsiders in. And when I say outsiders in, like, you had to be us first. If you wasn't Primetime first, we didn't allow you to play. There was only really one person that played with us that didn't really stay with us was Disco. And that's only because he started running his own team. But Disco always found a way to play with us in another division. If it wasn't Storm, it was Primetime. We don't let people in to our franchise because they hold us up when they want to decide they may want to go play with somebody else or go play with the team they came from. So we never really, as we say, borrow players. It was always Primetime, even when we first started, because we didn't have that problem. We was 20, 25 deep. But now we had to get younger. So I had to step back from, trying to lead with a dictatorship or with an iron fist. So we started opening up our doors. And now we you see, we got a lot of new faces. But those new faces are actually saying they're with us and that's that. But it's hard to let people in because I'm about loyalty. And I don't want to coach against you on Saturday and then you play with me on Sunday, then vice versa. You're playing with me in the C or somebody else in the B and we got a team in that division. I don't like that. I've never been a part of that. And then I got to worry about the schedules with Darren. Yo, our quarterback is playing here or our receiver. Nah, we never did that in Primetime. So, and I don't want to start doing that now. So, yeah, but it's hard. I mean, people get old. Father Time is undefeated. So you got to replace people. And that's what we're doing now. We're on a rebuild mode right now. But we rebuilding. It's in 2 chips, 1-1, lost 1. I take that rebuild any day.
All right. We're going to thank Coach Tiki for being with us on Real Tough Talk. Definitely appreciate the time. Listen, congratulations on getting to the chip in 2 divisions. Listen, it's hard getting there and to make it in 2 divisions, especially with a fairly new team, meaning new players coming in, and to do that, especially with the situation with the quarterback carousel and then Baca becoming a starter and getting you out to the championship. Listen, that's an accomplishment in itself, even though you didn't win it.
One more thing as far as with Baca, a lot of times during the games, I usually try to take over the huddles, talking wise, halftime. I didn't have to do that a lot this season with Baca. I stepped back. Like, he was saying things that I would normally say. He was the motivator. I didn't have to be the motivator. Usually it's Pratt. Baca had all control. And truth be told, there's other men that we picked up, not Juju. Juju's excellent, but Nunu, he doesn't get a lot of recognition. But he's keeping everybody together on that field as a leader. And you don't know he's quiet behind the scene, but he's holding it down. So I like the call that we doing, that we got going. And like I said, we got new old pieces coming back. So we should be all right, Jay. We should be all right.
All right, brother. We're gonna wish you luck. We thank you for being here with us. Definitely, we can't wait to see you in the spring and see what happens, because I know you got some things that you didn't tell us that's up your sleeve.
Yeah.
So we'll be watching. We'll be watching.
I got a few players coming back. A few primetime players coming back. That's all. Nothing new. Nothing. They're gonna help out on our offense, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right, Jay. We always did. One thing, we're always relevant. Our team's been relevant even during a rebuild. We're relevant. Been relevant since we've been playing in any league. Our team is relevant. So a lot of people don't have the consistency we had. We was spoiled. We was winning 2-3 chips every season. Then we went on a little three season drought, and everybody forgot about us. But we always there. We'll be there when it counts. That's all that matters.
All right, Tiki. Thanks a lot. We're gonna thank our audience for being with us, our fans. We're gonna wrap up the show. On behalf of Real Tough Talk, Stephen J, my partner Ghost, we're gonna see y'all guys on another episode of Real Tough Talk. Thanks a lot, Tiki. We talk to you soon, bro.
Thank you.
We'll be back for a long time. Remember that, y'all. All right, we out.
All right, now. All right.
All right.